Холла амигосы! Вы на канале Сос Нарцисс, меня зовут Артем. Это игра The Council. Сразу же выберите задание. А не, я не так сделаю, наверное, друзья. Я сделаю так. Где моя мать? Продолжить. Правильно? Друзья, хочу вам сказать, что мы немножко сюжет изменили. Потому что я переиграл перед последнюю миссию и пошел не за Элизабет, а за Эмили. У нас был секс, да? Да, незабываемый. Посмотрите, очень было классно. Вот. И все-таки концовка изменилась первой части. В общем, в концовке с Элизабет, естественно, Элизабет погибает, если мы пойдем за Элизабет. И нас осуждают ее смерти. Если же вы пойдете за Эмили, то в конце вас ждет лорд Мортимер. Наконец-то. Долгожданный. Очень похож, кстати, он на этого Венгеля, или как его там, этого... Вы поняли, с Пруссии. В общем, давайте гамать, или как?
How many times must I tell you? You must never put your life on the line for me.
Mother has always had a fascination for Lord Mortimer, but has never wanted to tell me why.
We are doing our utmost to find your mother as quickly as possible.
Without your mother, hundreds of men of the cloth would have gone to the guillotine.
All I can tell you is I'm looking for my sister.
Do you believe your mother capable of torturing a child?
An agreement for cannons. Lord Mortimer assured me that you are to take over the project on behalf of your mother.
Johann Christoph von Wurner, Minister of Religious Affairs, and Jacques Peroux, French Revolutionary Tribunal Judge. You will find that Lord Mortimer is not what one would call conventional, Monsieur de Рише.
I do apologize for being late. I was obliged to clear up some urgent business.
Круть. Так, у нас есть книга рассуждения о методе, логика, психология, убеждение. Так, эрудиция, логика, эрудиция. Давайте, в принципе, мы все равно изучим это. Кабинет лорда Мортимера. 22 января 1793 год. Друзья, второй эпизод игры The Council. Да, вот начинается он именно вот так.
At last we meet,
Hide
Monsieur
and
de
seek.
Рише. Do you mind if I call you Louis?
Please do.
Thank you. I wish to apologize wholeheartedly, Louis. I made you cross the seas, and I wasn't even here to welcome you. When I asked you to join us here, it was, of course, in the hope that you would help us find your mother. However, there may be some new developments, but I don't know if they are linked to your mother. We have found Elizabeth Adams' body in her room. I'm afraid she was brutally murdered, stabbed several times.
Кто убийца? Да?
Who could have done it?
That is precisely what I would like you to help us determine, Louis. Duchess Hillsborough informed us that she accompanied you at the beginning of the evening. You apparently bumped into Miss Adams, who wanted to speak to you.
Да.
We are told you turned her away, and she went away on her own.
That's correct.
Do you know what she wanted to see you about, by any chance?
К сожалению, она была в памятнике. Нет, мы должны рассказывать все правильно. К сожалению, нет.
Not in the least.
Pity. The poor child was probably trying to find help.
I thought it could wait until tomorrow.
Apparently not. Louis, I shan't hide the fact that this tragedy puts me in a very delicate situation. I cannot risk upsetting the smooth operation of our next conference. But the case cannot remain unaddressed.
Yep.
I must reassure my guests, and justice will be done. And for that to happen, I must ask for your help.
Why is that?
You met Elizabeth. You spoke together, I believe. She trusted you. Listen, Louis. Find out who could have committed this murder. I refuse to believe that one of my guests is the murderer. I want to know who is responsible for this. And I trust you. You have my backing. You must stop at nothing. Can I count on you?
Of course. How would you like me to proceed?
Maybe you could start by going to the scene of the crime. Elizabeth was attacked in her room.
Do you have any suspects in mind, my lord?
I spent most of the night talking with Sir Gregory and His Eminence Piaggi. So I think you can remove them from the list of suspects. Monsieur Bonaparte and President Washington left the party after midnight, I believe. They were tired and went up to bed.
Понятно. Грегори, который с Англии, влиятельный аристократ, отпадает. Пьяджи отпадает. Это тот, который кардинал. Ну и сам Мортимер. Бонапарт, Вашингтон. Оставили нас после полуночи.
Can you tell me anything else about what happened?
Now, Louis, I wouldn't want to influence you. Get over there and form your own opinion.
Хорошо.
Right. I'll get over there immediately.
Thank you, Louis. Now, once you've finished, come back and let me know your findings. I'll be waiting. And Louis, you've got permission to search through the guests' rooms. They've all been notified and they agree.
А знаете, чью я первую комнату обещу? Господи, запомнить без всех. Вот этого, дядьки, Перюжак. Не знаю, ну, скорее всего, это банально, да, потому что у него с ней... С ним... А, ну правильно, у него с ней был конфликт. Но нужно это проверить, друзья. Итак. Пьяджи. Стоит, что он там стоит, делает.
Your Eminence, I imagine that you've heard the news about Miss Adams.
What a tragedy, my son. How could such a thing have happened?
That's exactly what I'm trying to find out. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary last night?
I saw the young French soldier, Bonaparte, I believe, hanging around near Miss Adams' room. But I would not want to get an innocent man into trouble, Louis. It's probably nothing.
Not to worry, Your Eminence. If he is innocent, then he has nothing to fear. Do you know why Monsieur Bonaparte was hanging around her room like that?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that the dashing young soldier had become infatuated with a fragile young woman who looked a bit lost. But I don't think he got a very warm welcome.
Bonaparte and Adams? But they didn't even know each other, did they?
I couldn't say, Louis. But if I were you, my son, I would talk to Monsieur Peru.
О,
You remember how violently he set
ну это
upon
понятно, это я
Miss
сразу
Adams.
хотел сделать.
Oh, don't worry. He's on the list of suspects.
Все, понял. Так, здесь вроде бы все. Съедим медика. Вот так вот, отлично. Запомним полностью шкалу. Ой, там что-то валяется. Ключ с оккультным символом вода. Ага, ясно.
Dante's Purgatory.
Чистилище
Why does your
Данте.
mind presume to flight when you're still like the imperfect grub, the worm before it's attained its final form? Charming.
Так, якорцы. Якорцы что у нас делает? Ага. Показывает, к чему устойчивый, слаб. А как он показывает, интересно, я еще не пробовал ни разу. Нужно будет попробовать. Так. Господин Мортимер. Лорд, который... Что у вас здесь есть, интересно? Вижу, что-то есть. Отлично. Так, здесь ничего. На столе что-то есть, по-моему, мед. Отлично. Теперь обойдем с этой стороны. Книги. Здесь ничего. Здесь ничего, а здесь шкатулочка.
Which four-letter word could open this chest?
В смысле? Ну-ка еще раз, что он сказал?
Which four-letter word could open this chest?
Какое слово из 4 букв? Вторая А или Е. Третья. С. А, давайте вот так. Па, П, З. Не понимаю. Не понимаю, друзья. Какое слово может быть? Пока что. Ладно, а где мы находимся? А, это 3-й этаж. Как спуститься отсюда? Пока непонятно. С 4 букв слова. Может, здесь какая-то подсказка есть? Тихо, тихо. Мартир. Друзья. Кажись, я знаю. Смотрите. Если есть буква З, я знаю. Смотрите. З. Вторая Э. Третья В. И С, друзья. Молодцом? Крутяк. Крутяк. Башка. Башка работает, друзья. Башка работает моя. Так, ладно, что здесь?
A Chinese coin, recognizable by the hole in the middle. If I remember rightly, that's called a cash.
Кстати, по статуе узнал Зевса. Исследуйте смерть Адамс. Так, хорошо. Так, это нас ведет лестница наверх. Правильно? Эти лестницы ведут вниз. Комната молодого офицера. Жаль, нельзя поставить маркер. Так, если я пойду сюда, слишком далеко идти, да. Мы осмотрим сейчас комнаты все. Ничего нет. Ничего. Там что-то только что показалось. Понятно. Музыка странная. Так. Опа.
The Quorum Guide.
Отлично, книги нам нужны. Так, здесь мы вроде все пособирали, да? Шкатулочка. Нам не нужна. Так, стоп. Это чья комната?
Monsieur Jacques Perru?
Месье Жак Перю. Начнем с Жака Перю. А он здесь сразу.
What do you want from me, Рише?
Greetings. It's fallen to me
Cut
that...
the crap! Get to the point. We both know why you're here.
And have you got anything to tell me?
What does it matter? It's too late anyway. Do what you have to do and get out.
It's never too late, sir. If you have something to say, now is the time.
You don't understand. Everything's already written. It's over.
Why is he behaving like the perfect culprit? What is it that's already written? I'm not sure I follow you.
No, you don't.
Конечно, не понимаю. А можно мне объяснить? Ладно, давай отпущим.
A pattern with 4 circles.
4 кругов. Открыть ключом, взломать. Ладно. Там много чего. И письма какие-то. Мед есть.
Dear Monsieur Perru, I'm writing to thank you for the funds you sent. These funds will be crucial
Позвольте благодарить вас за щедрое пожертвование. Благодарю вам. Благодаря вам мы наконец-то отремонтируем западное крыло приюта. У ребят, которых вы нам передали, все хорошо. Малютка Пьер скоро снова будет ходить. Некоторым деткам все еще снится, как их родители стоят на эшафоте. Уверена, что со временем кошмары пропадут. На случай, если вы пришлете нам еще детей, мы скоро докупим 20 кроватей. С воспитанниками сердечно вам благодарны. Да здравствует республика, да здравствует Франция. Сестра Мария Рилена.
Sister Marie-Hélène.
В смысле?
I'll retrieve it later.
Вы поняли? Он типа не слишком-то и плохой.
A Russian ruble. I wonder what it'd be worth today. The Massacre of the Innocents by Rubens. A bit gloomy. Guess my room is not that bad. Great, honey.
Там мед. Хорошо. Толку с этого, конечно, никакого. Не знаю, встретимся ли мы снова. Я попал в ловушку собственных решений. Тебя нужно защитить. Без тебя у меня нет будущего. Твою жизнь еще можно спасти. Уже не важно, сердишься ли ты на меня. Просто знай, я заключил сделку с дьяволом, которого надеялся обыграть. Я думал, что знаю все про этих чудовищ, но мой подвиг во имя Франции — ничто по сравнению с тем, на что способны они. Выхода нет. Их челюсти скоро сомкнутся. Люблю тебя и всегда буду любить. Интересная письмица.
Records of the police. Notes intended for the police lieutenant of Paris. It's a list of people under surveillance in Paris. And there's some well-known names on it. This is valuable information. This shouldn't be lying around.
Хорошо. Опа. Золотой эликсир, отлично.
Dear friend,
Дорогой друг, прошу вас посетить мой особняк, чтобы обсудить происходящее в Париже. Коли вас будет ждать лодка, которая доставит вас в английский порт Ду. Оттуда экипаж довезет вас до Тинтаджела, где пришвартован мой фрегат. В нем вы и остальные гости доплывете до моего острова. Жду вашего прибытия. Лорд Уильям Мортимер. Отлично. Понял. Так, ложка, нифига себе ложка. Крутая, не то, что у нас сейчас ложки. Так, ну здесь больше ничего. друзья. Есть еще балкончик, который мы сейчас выйдем. А, нельзя выйти? Ага. Ясно.
All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions.
Нравится бить женщин. Сложность манипулирования. Допрос. Я не уверен, что это подействует.
I'd like to talk about the letter you're writing. What woman is it addressed to?
Who says it's a woman? I'm not saying any more. There's no point you insisting.
Это все понятно. Французики.
All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions.
У меня все.
Let's get right to it. Are you Elizabeth Adams' murderer?
That is for you to prove, if I'm not mistaken, boy. You weren't expecting me to do all the legwork for you, were you? Lazy man.
Хорошо. Делаем так. Делаем так. Сделаем вот так.
2 days ago, I surprised you having a go at Miss Adams. What happened? Did you want to give her another beating? She wouldn't let you push her around again, huh?
Shut up, you little shit! You have no idea what happened, and here you are, carping away. You think you're investigator of the year. Have you taken a look at yourself, Рише?
Didn't you get enough beating her black and blue the last time?
I did not!
Подловить.
Why?
Nothing. Get away from me.
Just as soon as you stop treating me like I'm an idiot. If you wanted people to think you were guilty, you couldn't have done any better. So cut the bullshit and come clean now.
I can't! He'll come for revenge.
Who?
No one! Just shut your trap,
Okay.
goddammit! Yes, I was there. Yes, I walked in her blood. You've got all you need to wrap it up. Now scram!
Так.
Monsieur Jacques Perru. Monsieur Napoléon Bonaparte.
Давайте сначала все-таки комнату Элизабет осмотрим, а потом пойдем. Это нужно было сделать сразу, в принципе. Я сменяю детектив.
Duchess Emily Hillsborough.
Можно к Эмилии зайти, кстати. Зашел бы к ней. Так.
Duke Manuel Godoy.
Мануэль Годой. Нельзя к Мануэлю. Странно, странно, странно. Очень странно. Так, тихо. Это моя комната, да?
Huh, that's me.
Стоп. А где же комната? Что-то нифига не...
Monseigneur, His Eminence Cardinal Piaggi.
Piaggi, окей. Так, стоп. Это чья комната? Там не написано. Ничья.
President George Washington.
Ясно. Опа. Ладно. Что это за комната, я не понимаю. Я вообще уже все обижал, заметили?
Monsieur Johann van Vulner.
В смысле, а где ее комната? Прикалываетесь или что? Или она не здесь находится? Это мы уже обижали полностью вокруг все.
Monsieur Jacques Perru.
Блин. Комната до Рише. Это я знаю. Комната Перю. Бонапарта. Хорошо, второй этаж, первый этаж. Ну, здесь столовая. Малая гостиная. Портретная галерея. Библиотека, столовая. А, все, я понял, короче, где комната. Так, где этот чувак? Стоп, 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 стоп. Так, мне назад нужно. Бежим, в общем, к этому Верну, как его там, господи, немцу, короче, прусскому. Сейчас будем, думаю, гадать. Если я не могу зайти, правильно? Отлично. Отлично, вот там я могу зайти у него. Так, а здесь стоп. Я не могу зайти к нему. Почему? Так же ко всем можно было зайти. Нет? Разве? Ладно. Тогда спросим у него, что он здесь забыл.
Good day, Monsieur de Рише.
Mr. Volner, are you looking for anything in particular?
Oh.
Next to Elizabeth's room?
No, nothing special.
Стоп. Вспомнить нужно... Фенфельнер. Уклонение. Слабость уклонения. Устойчивость непонятно. Что еще? Окей.
I'd have thought this is not really the shortest way to get to your suite.
Yes, I wasn't really looking where I was going. I shall leave you now, sir. I will return to my room.
Ага, ясно. Поговорили. Окей. Погнали в комнату. Я не понимаю, зачем она вот эти делала оккультистский круг. Офигеть, она убитая лежит. На том же месте. Понятно. Ее в грудь закололи. За что ее убивать, я не могу понять. Что она такого сделала?
A chest with a half circle pattern.
Открыть ключом. Откуда у меня ключ? Ну, я же уже много нашел ключей. И записка.
An untutored hand copied these
Заметки
notes.
были написаны
Looks
не
like
твердой рукой.
a healing method. Well, that's a
Способ
pity.
лечения. Жалко, что
The
я
writing
не
is
могу
barely
прочитать.
legible. Feet and hands are bound.
Руки,
A
ноги
piece
связаны.
of
Кусок
cloth in the
материи во
mouth
рту не
prevents
дает
the tongue from being
откусить
sectioned.
язык.
It looks like preparation for an exorcism. Is Elizabeth really
Элизабет
possessed?
правда одержима? Неудача. Взять заметки, да. Элизабет была одержима. Я буду смеяться, если она сейчас оживет. Не, я смеяться не буду, я убегать буду. В смысле, Элизабет? А зачем мне уже? А мне уже это не нужно, в принципе. Правильно? Правильно? А ее здесь уже и нету. А, не, есть, вот она. Устойчивость, манипулирование, психология. Понятно. Ладно. Это в последнюю очередь мы смотрим.
Clock stopped at 3:54. If it was smashed during the murder, then I've just established the time of the crime.
3:54. Это нужно записать, друзья, а то я
That would
забуду.
clear Emily de facto because she was still with me at the time.
Эмили, значит, не попадает под подозрение. Правильно я понимаю? Так. Где моя ручка? Кто мне скажет? Мне нужно записать 3:54. Ладно, 3:54. Понятно, 4 часа утра. Наполеон после полуночи ушел вместе с Вашингтоном. Но Вашингтон, зачем Вашингтону убивать дочь вице-президента Соединенных Штатов, который президентом является? Это точно не Вашингтон.
Vials of laudanum.
Пузырьки с опием. Изучить пузырьки.
The label shows that this laudanum comes straight from America. I wonder if Washington's involved.
Да нет. Но мы все равно с ним поговорим об этом. Что еще?
A pentagram. What the hell's been going on here?
Изучить символ. Сложность 0, оккультизм. Вспомнить матушкины книги.
Contrary to what most people believe, a pentagram's not there to conjure up, I don't know, what evil or demonic creature. With the point toward the top, the pentagram is an ancient symbol of protection against evil. Many esoteric rituals are based on this shape. Could Elizabeth have been sacrificed during an occult ritual? I wonder if Elizabeth's death has anything at all to do with this pentagram. If a ritual went wrong and degenerated, Elizabeth would probably have been killed in the center of the pentagram, not 3 meters from here. That's strange.
Вообще-то, по-моему, когда мы пришли, пентаграмма уже была на полу. Тогда, помните, в прошлый раз мы уже приходили, а пентаграмма была на полу. Она точно не связана с убийством. Да, здесь, конечно, жесть происходит. Что-то есть.
Piece of fabric, high quality at that. I'd say it's silk. Going by the texture and the gray hue, it must come from a dress, that kind that women of quality wear.
Слушайте, неужели это наша мать? Вспомнить
The color doesn't correspond to Emily's black outfits, and Elizabeth doesn't have anything quite like this in her wardrobe.
Да.
Let's take a closer look. It's a little dirty. It must come from the bottom of the dress where it touches the ground. I recognize that moire pattern. It's the same as the travel dress my mother was wearing when she left. Why the hell did she come into this room?
Да. А может быть такое, что они вообще дрались между собой? Это что же как вариант? Как вы думаете, ребятки? Они могли драться, то есть Элизабет, она плохо относилась к моей матери, потому что та над ней издевалась, по идее. Чего? Пистолет. Понятно. Возможно, моя мама просто защищалась, я не знаю.
Fairly new, I'd say. And judging by the weight of it, fairly light.
Так, рассмотреть рукоятку, изучить оружие.
There's a few dried traces of blood on the grip. Difficult to know for sure how they got there. A tribute engraved on the barrel. To the liberators of France.
Освободителям Франции.
It's extremely well maintained. The barrel is perfectly clean. It isn't loaded, and well, there's no traces of gunshot residue. I'd conclude that it hasn't been used recently. Right. I shall have to find its owner.
А вот интересно, если мы все-таки пошли к Элизабет, да, и нас схватили, кто бы расследовал это дело? Интересно. 30 ноября 1791 год. Дорогая сестричка, новость об отмене нашей встречи стала для меня настоящим ударом. Отец сказал, что это ради твоего благополучия, но мне от этого не легче. Он утверждает, что тебе стало хуже, и что эта встреча может навредить как мне, так и тебе. Если бы я только знала, где ты, я бы сейчас же приехала. Ты очень давно мне ничего не писала. Пожалуйста, ответь. С любовью, твоя сестра Эбигейл. Пресс, надеюсь, тебе понравился этот талисман. Это талисман от сестры. Понятно. То есть, когда я с ней общался, тогда нужно было сказать, что сестра. За нее переживает. Так, стоп, там что-то еще.
August 24th.
Элизабет, я в отчаянии не знаю даже, что тебе писать. Может, ты не получишь моих писем. Отец пристально следит за моей корреспонденцией. Он явно пускает далеко пропускает далеко не все. Если одна из горничных помогает мне отправлять письма. Правда, ни на одно я не получил ответа. Я часто думаю о тебе, и каждый день молю Бога о встрече с тобой. Мы обязательно все наверстаем. Пожалуйста, ответь мне, прошу. С любовью, твоя сестра Эбигейл. Вчера снова приходила та страшная женщина. Они с отцом долго о чем-то беседовали. Я не все поняла, потому что они говорили на французском, но они точно обсуждали тебя. Страшная женщина — это моя мать. Друзья, это мама убила ее. Я уже знаю. Твое последнее письмо очень меня обеспокоило. От него веяло холодом и равнодушием, словно все чувства потянули к тебе. Отец считает, что это побочный эффект твоей терапии. Но скорее тебе станет лучше. Стоит ли мне надеяться? Я с нетерпением жду нашей встречи. Мы так давно не виделись. Жду ответа. С любовью, твоя сестра Эбигейл. Обязательно напиши, что тебе подарить. Ясно.
A notebook, written in Elizabeth's handwriting. It is written in a mix of several languages. Not too easy to work out. It looks like a mixture of medieval Latin and Anglo-Norman. It is difficult to make sense of this jerky writing. I can make out some passages, though.
Каких?
He's coming. The demon is upon me. He's coming back to kill me. There she is. Death has come to finish me off. I've just run into her son. That was her last entry. What tortured writing.
Понятно. Там еще что-то есть.
A novel of the initiation of a young woman into polite society.
Ясно. Так, ну что, друзья, теперь я думаю, стоит осмотреть. Там что-то еще есть. О, а ты что здесь делаешь, друг?
My dear Elizabeth, I'm writing to inform you of some unfortunate news. We won't be able to meet as planned on the first Sunday of May. I've been told that you're no better, and unfortunately, your brothers and I are absolutely snowed under by the work required to govern this new country. Please excuse us. As soon as we can get free, even if it's just for a day, I promise we shall come and see you. Your loving father.
Ладно. Так. Я увидел, здесь есть что-то.
Blood spatter indicates that the murder must have held Elizabeth upright during the attack. Even if Elizabeth wasn't very big, I doubt she wouldn't have put up a struggle. It takes tremendous strength to overpower someone like that.
Понятно. Дальше. Вот чем убили.
The handprint on the handle is really small. I can't imagine a man with a hand that size. It must be from a woman's hand.
Конечно. Да, это рука моей мамы, скорее всего. Ладно, дальше. Вино.
Knocked over a bottle of wine. Plunk is that? Hey, it's a Bordeaux. That's a Chateau de Briand. It's a great wine. I don't know what's happened to this wine, but it's undrinkable.
Да, мы уже пробовали один раз. Так, тихо.
Poor girl bled to death. Whoever left that footprint has boats for feet. That's at least a size 15. Where's a size like that here? Peru?
Да.
Washington, maybe.
Нет, это Перу было, это понятно. Зачем повторяться? Масонский знак это, друзья, а не золотой орден, если чё. Это знак масонов у нее на татуировке. Инфа соточка. Рассмотреть руку. Изучить торс.
There are numerous marks on the body. She must have fought like a lion. It couldn't have happened without a lot of noise. There are also a number of old scars. People who scar themselves in this way generally do so to relieve some kind of psychological suffering. By trying to master the pain, they establish their self-control. Scarring, ugh. Scarring isn't very regular, but they're mostly from old cuts.
Изучить татуировки. Сигилум, да. Ага, понятно.
She had the sigillum de Ameth tattooed on her, the symbol of the
Символ
living
живого
God,
бога.
written in the language of angels, according to believers. It is rare for someone to know about symbols like this at her age, unless her mother was a tutor.
Как вариант.
Ancient Greek. Let's see what it means. These are sacred chants intended to protect their bearer. But from whom? Or from what?
Понятно. Изучить голову.
I see no sign of bruising on the skull. The only clue is a scar from a previous craniectomy. Poor Elizabeth, she must have been very young when she went through all that. That's torture. She also has old scars around the neck, maybe mutilations. What a strange smell.
В смысле?
Laudanum. Certain courtiers use it to get drunk. If taken in large quantities, it can provoke fits of madness.
А, опий.
She bled from the nose. There are signs of bleeding, but I don't see any traces of bruising. Blood, but no trace of blows on the legs. The direction of the blood streaks caused by the wounds to the thorax show that she was standing when she lost blood. This proves that she was standing when she was assassinated, possibly held by someone or something. More tattoos, similar to those on the rest of her body. but blood on the right hand. Nothing on the left except that tattooed symbol. No marks or bruising around the wrists. It doesn't look like she was tied up or held by force. This pinnacle's a trap. The wearers of the pinnacle thought that they were protected from evil by surrounding it inside the different circles of the pinnacle. I count no fewer than 9 wounds on the thorax, with a lot of blood. On first sight, I'd say that's what caused her death.
Так, рассмотреть раны, изучить татуировки.
It looks as though the wounds were inflicted from a precise angle, as if the murderer was standing behind Elizabeth.
Со спины. Понял.
Some of these tattoos are veritable works of... What's that? The skin between her breasts is different. Bloody hell! This tattoo was drawn on a page of leather and stitched onto her skin. Probably during childhood.
Жесть.
The scars are anything to go by. It's the same kind of tattoo as on the rest of her body. Some of these tattoos are veritable works of... What's that?
Это я уже выбирал. Извините, друзья.
Bloody hell! This tattoo was drawn on a page of leather and stitched onto her skin. Probably during childhood. The scars are anything to go by. It's the same kind of tattoo as on the rest of her body.
Вообще я все изучил, по сути.
Has Sir finished with this room?
Do you know who could have made such a mess of this room?
Miss Adams, sir. We were given orders to leave the room as it was, so as not to rush her.
Did she have a fight with someone to get the room into this state?
Not that I know of, sir. Miss Adams would sometimes throw a tantrum, during which she would destroy anything that came to hand. Lord Mortimer told us not to enter the room.
Thanks for that information.
You are welcome, sir. Has Sir finished with this room?
I know enough now. Thank you.
Very well, sir. Sir may return whenever need be. I shall guard the door.
Так, ну что, погнали тогда к Бонапарту? Это была моя мать. Скорее всего. Так, Перю и тут Бонапарт, да? Или нет? А, стоп.
Monsieur Johann van Wunde.
Он уже есть здесь, можно зайти. Интересно. Туда мы выйти не можем. Понятно.
A chest locked with a 4-letter code. Surely a word close to the owner's heart.
Вард. 4 буквы. Ого. А если мы сделаем вот так?
If I'm not mistaken, Paracelsus named the element called zinc.
Цинк. Что там есть? Загадочные заметки. Загадочные заметки. Заметки до Рише. Энциклопедия. Загадочные заметки. Где эти загадочные заметки? Короче, нельзя. Найти, наверное, или что? Пока не понимаю. Осмотреть.
Golden elixir. The sorrows of young Werther. There's a handwritten text signed by von Werner on this first page. Dear Elizabeth, I know that this book is but a small token compared to the delightful moments you gave me. But I hope that this will nonetheless keep the memory alive. Your ever obedient servant.
So, Volner had a relationship with Elizabeth. But that's hardly surprising given his fondness for the occult.
Не, ну, я уверен, что это не он убил, естественно. Хотя, я уже ничего не удивлюсь. Ну что, сейчас мы спросим его обо всем.
A fragment of amber. The alchemist is an old man.
Ничего. Нету места для карты. Ладно, поговорим еще.
What can I do for you, Рише?
Monsieur, Lord Mortimer has appointed me to investigate the tragedy that befell us last night.
Oh, yes. It's horrible. Yes. How can I help, monsieur?
Excuse me for asking, but did you know Miss Adams?
Oh, she... not really, to tell the truth. No.
I found the Werther dedication, signed by your hand, monsieur. Would you like to change your version now?
Be careful, Рише. Don't push your luck. My relationship with Miss Adams was pure, and has nothing to do with you. Well, continue playing the detective as you see fit. But if I find the bastard who did that to Elizabeth, I will...
Yes! I would have preferred a simple response, but I see I have my answer now. I get the impression that your romance was over. Am I right?
So? What does it matter to you? I would never have attacked her, if that's what you're insinuating.
Who put an end to the relationship? You or her?
It was her. It was her. But what does that matter? We both agreed.
Тихо. Извините, друзья. Уклонение. Хорошо. Допрос, убеждение, манипулирование.
Please, tell me a little more about the nature of your relationship.
That is a personal matter, monsieur.
Yes, that is true. So, tell me.
All right. It was passion. That's why we couldn't stay together. It scared her.
You loved her, didn't you?
That is none of your damn business.
Your feelings betray you, sir.
So what? Yes. I loved her, like a moth loves the flame of a candle. That's why we could never be together.
Exactly how long had you been seeing her?
I have no reason to answer you.
I see. Is that what you want me to tell Lord Mortimer when he asks what I found out?
It's only been a few weeks.
Понятно.
Where were you last night?
In my room. I read a few ancient manuscripts before going to bed. But I didn't stay up long. I was tired.
Thank you kindly.
Так, уклонение. Понятно. Пока все ясно.
We finished. I'll have a look around and then take my leave.
Do whatever you have to do.
Идем к Наполеону. Со всеми нужно разговаривать, я так думаю. Но все же все склонно, что это была моя мать. Мать героя. Так.
C'est Jacques Perru.
C'est Жак Перю. Пойдемте к Наполеону.
A devil's thorn, to be used to uncover the best disguised traits. The Prince by Machiavelli. A perfect read for anyone with a surfeit of ambition.
О.
That might come in handy.
Шапка Наполеона. Вы обнаружили устойчивость. Хорошо. Отлично.
Hannibal crossing the Alps. Another military success. Why do I get nothing but visions of horror in my room? And he gets victory after victory?
Шпага.
It's a beautiful weapon. A lovely damask blade. It's marked with the initials of the manufacturer in Versailles.
Устойчивость еще.
It's a beautiful weapon. My dearest son, I'm writing to
Мой сын,
implore
прошу
you to
тебя
act quickly.
поторопиться. Здесь
The
становится
situation is
хуже и
rapidly
хуже.
worsening here.
Паули скоро втянет
Howley
нашу
continues to steer
родную
our
Корсику
motherland,
в
Corsica,
англо-французскую
toward
войну.
open warfare between
Его люди
France
буквально
and England.
повсюду. Нам приходится
His men are
прятаться и
everywhere.
перебираться с места на
We are
место,
obliged
едва ли
to
не
go into
каждый
hiding
день. Не удивлюсь,
and are
если
unable
вскоре нас
to remain
выселят.
in the same place
Поспеши,
for more
сынок,
than
теперь
2
наша
days.
судьба в твоих руках. Собой
I
твоя
wouldn't be
мать, Мария
surprised
Летиция
if they targeted
Бонапарт.
us.
Понятно.
Carmelite water. They say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost.
Так, он там что-то читает, в общем. Пускай читает. О, а можно на шапку Наполеона посмотреть.
Bicorn decorated with a
Иголка,
cockade.
украшенная
It must belong to a
кокардой.
French soldier.
Так, выйти мы не можем. А то можем осмотреть еще одну комнату. Что? Понял. Здесь нельзя выйти. Хорошо, я понял. Так, есть.
French actor Talma is Nero. Amber.
Шахматы, шахматы. Понял. Так, здесь ничего, здесь что-то есть, да?
There's just one holster in Bonaparte's gear, and the pistol is missing. On the other hand, his cleaning equipment is in mint condition.
А,
That's typical of the soldier in him.
не его ли пистолет там?
My dear Napoleon,
Мой дорогой
as
Наполеон,
previously
как мы и
agreed,
договаривались,
I would
приглашаю вас
like to
в
ask you to
присутствие.
join us
Царское
in
собрание на
January
моем
on
острове
my
соберется в
island
высшей
to
свете.
participate
Я хотел
in the high
продолжить наш
society
разговор о
meeting
будущем
organized for the
устройстве
occasion.
Франции.
We
Вы
shall be able
желаете
to
видеть во
continue
главе
our
страны
discussion
сильнопрыгателей, и
about
мне
our
есть
project
что вам
for
предложить.
a
Надеюсь,
new
вы
order
сохраните
for
свой
France.
приезд в тайне.
I have a
Скорой
proposition
встречи.
to make to you
Лорд Уильям
concerning...
Мортимер. Хорошо. Пожалуй, стоит поговорить.
Monsieur de Рише, please be quick. We are both very busy.
Did you hear about young Elizabeth?
Indeed, it is deeply regrettable.
Lord Mortimer asked me.
I know. You no doubt want to know my alibi. I spent the night downstairs playing cards.
Can you tell me who was present at the game, please?
Well, there were Lord Mortimer, President Washington, and Sir Gregory.
Thank you.
Ah, and His Eminence Piaget as well. Excuse me, I nearly forgot him. Poor soul.
Did any of you leave during the game?
Not that I know of, monsieur. I didn't exactly spend my time noting the other guests' comings and goings, but I don't think so.
Thank you. Did you notice anything unusual during the evening?
Nothing at all, except the luck of the devil of Lord Mortimer and Sir Gregory at cards.
Did they win much?
Oh la la, monsieur, they cleaned us out more like. But I plan on getting it all back before we leave.
What time did the game end?
I can't say exactly. As for me, I must have stayed until midnight. I was exhausted, couldn't think straight. So I preferred to go up to bed.
On your way up to bed, did you notice anything out of the ordinary?
No, not in the least. The whole manor was sound asleep.
Not really. No.
Понятно.
Someone saw you not far from the victim's room. Can you tell me what you were doing exactly, please?
I can tell you that someone is an idiot. I wanted to warn her to be careful. You see, on the night of my arrival, I saw someone leaving her room in haste, and I wanted to speak to her, to warn her. Unfortunately, the young lady slipped through my fingers each time. Now I know why. She had every reason to be worried. What an idiot I was not to insist. I could have helped her.
Психология, говоришь, я не уверен, что она на него действует. Так, где наш Наполеон Бонапарт? Политика, устойчивость, убеждение, политика. Хотя... Попробуем.
I've been studying him for a while now, and I don't think he was lying. Yet, I'm surprised how easy it was for me to read him. It must surely be his military side. I wish they all could be like that. My investigation would be finished already.
Да.
As any good soldier would, I imagine you own a firearm. May I see it?
Oh, well, if you really want to, here is my pistol. Don't worry, it is not loaded.
Do you have several of these?
In Corsica, oui, but not on me when I am traveling. Only a bandit would carry such an arsenal.
Thank you. Someone saw you not far from the victim's room. Can you tell me what you were doing exactly, please?
I can tell you that someone is an idiot. I wanted to warn her to be careful. You see, on the night of my arrival, I saw someone leaving her room in haste, and I wanted to speak to her, to warn her. Unfortunately, the young lady slipped through my fingers each time. Now I know why. She had every reason to be worried. What an idiot I was not to insist. I could have helped her.
Were you able to recognize the prowler?
Unfortunately not, no. It was dark, and Lord Mortimer was waiting for me. I was not really paying attention anyway.
Excuse me for insisting, but if you saw him or her, I'm sure you would have more information than that. It's just that you don't think it can be of help to me.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Was it a woman, for instance? Bearing in mind that all the women here wear whalebone dresses, which is rather noticeable.
A man, I should say. I don't recall seeing the silhouette of the dress.
You see, you saw many things, in fact.
Hang on. Laissez-moi réfléchir. Let me think a minute.
A wig? His height? The sound of his footsteps, maybe.
Ah, his height. Oui, somewhat imposing. A tall man, and straight. As for the rest, I don't know, Monsieur de Рише.
Not to worry. That's already quite a lot. Thank you for everything. Were you able to recognize the prowler?
Unfortunately not, no. It was dark, and Lord Mortimer was waiting for me. I was not really paying attention anyway.
But if I remember rightly, the night of her arrival was also the night of my arrival. So the person he saw leaving Elizabeth's room was Washington.
А, все понял. Точно.
Well, have we finished, monsieur?
Exactly. Thanks again for all your answers. Good day.
Идем к Вашингтону. Возможно, он нам что-то и расскажет. В общем, да, он видел Вашингтона. Это и мы ему помогали, кстати, чтобы он обыскал комнату. Если чё. Так, идем к Вашингтону, друзья.
Duchess Emily Hillsborough.
Зайдем. Ладно. Может у нас что-то интересное получится. Сейчас разбавим немножко серию. Расследование. Уже и целоваться бы полез к ней. Здравствуй, спасибо за последнее письмо. К сожалению, корона предупредила золотое, что мы ни в коем случае не должны помешать сэру Грегори. Им явно удалось заручиться поддержкой Букингемского дворца. Нас связали по рукам и ногам и лишили всякой свободы действий. Держи меня в курсе дел. Выполнить задание будет непросто. Судя по всему, французский орден не знает о поездке нашей знакомой Сары, посему ничего не могу тебе сказать. Впрочем, как мне кажется, она явилась сюда по личному делу. Я понял. Так, что здесь?
Grammar of Port-Royal. Ah, the artistry of the French language and all its splendor. Whoever masters French commands the world. At least une partie of it.
Так, ну здесь все. А вот и наша любимая Эмили. У нас полностью есть максимум золотых эликсиров. Меда у нас мало. Кстати, его можно использовать. Полностью весь. И... Вот так, отлично. Нашли применение. Что?
A letter from William Pitt the Younger, addressed to Emily. He's the present Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Emily has indeed some powerful backers. Madam, thank you for consoling the Queen. The King's situation is worsening, but I wager he'll recover from this present fit. Next time you speak with Her Majesty the Queen, would you please be so kind as to ask her to look into my petition to raise taxes for the King? I will personally see to it that our nation will recover from this impasse. But King George's mental situation is slowing down our decision-making. An old sesterce from Roman Gaul.
Герцогиня, его святейшество готов помочь королю Георгу. Мы выделим средства на наем эмигрировавших роялистов для борьбы с Францией. Ваш друг кардинал Джузеппе Пьяджи. Ага, ясно.
2 coils circle the lock.
Нету ключа, взломаем. Есть письмо.
Dear Gregory, thank you for the
Благодарю
information.
вас за информацию.
I've
Мне
managed
удалось
to
немного
find out
разузнать
about
об
the
этих
names you
людях.
gave me.
Лорду Вашингтону можно
George
доверять. Несмотря
Washington
на
is a
политические
man you can
успехи, он
trust.
остался честным
In spite
человеком.
of his
С другой
obvious
стороны,
talent for
как вам
politics,
известно,
he
он
has
уже
remained
ведет дела с
upright and
лордом
honest.
Мортимером.
On the other
Получить его
hand,
доверие будет
as you may
сложно.
well know,
О
he's
Наполеоне
already doing
Бонапарте до
business with
сегодняшнего
Lord
дня ничего не
Mortimer.
слышала.
It will be
Это
more
пылкий
difficult
молодой
to
солдат
approach him.
французской армии, которому
Napoleon
Мортимер
Bonaparte was
пророчит
unknown to me
великое
until
будущее.
today.
Пророчит
He's a
великое
passionate
будущее.
young French
Пророчит великое.
soldier
Будьте
for whom
осторожны,
Mortimer
он
predicts a
человек
promising
твердых
future.
убеждений, а потому,
Take
на мой
heed.
взгляд, опасный
He's a man of
противник. Что
conviction,
касается
which to
Сары
my
де
mind makes
Рише,
him
мне
potentially dangerous.
нечего сказать.
As
Вы
for
уже
Sarah de
знакомы.
Riche,
Судя по
what
всему,
more
лорд
is there to
Мортимер
say?
пригласил ее
You
из-за
already
парижской
know each
шумихи
other.
вокруг
She was
заказчика того
apparently invited
ограбления.
by Lord Mortimer
Скорой встречи
about an
герцогиня
ongoing
Мире.
matter in Paris that concerns a
Right. I've retrieved everything.
Ясно.
A letter from William Pitt the Elder addressed to Emily. He was the English Prime Minister. This letter dates from 15 years ago now. Madam,
Никогда
I
не
shall never thank
устану
you enough
благодарить
for
вас за
all your
проявленную
care
заботу
and
и внимание.
attention.
Я у вас
I
долгу
shall
до
be
конца
indebted
своих
to you
дней.
till my
Прежде
last
чего
breath.
угодно я все
If you
сделаю.
have
Что
any
касается
request from
моего
me,
сына Уильяма,
you
я
only
безмерно
need
благодарен
ask.
вам за помощь.
With regards
Вы
to my
знаете
son
его
William,
предпочтения
I
и
shall
скоро
never
сами
thank you enough
поймете,
for looking
что он
after him.
в вас
You know the
нуждается.
latter's preferences,
Как мы и договорились с
and
королевой
you will
Шарлоттой,
understand he
наш
needs
друг
you
герцог
desperately.
Хиллсбороу
For that, and
выполнит
as
свое
agreed with
поручение и
Queen
встретится с
Charlotte,
вами в
our
течение
friend Duke
полугода. После этого вы
will carry out his
позабудете, что
task
такое
and
нужда.
meet with you
Искренне
within 6 months.
ваш Уильям
From then on,
Питкрафт.
you'll be
Какой-то там премьер-министр.
a devil's thorn, to be used to uncover the best disguised traits.
Так, ну это все.
What can I do for you, Louis?
I've come to see you about last night's tragedy. Did you hear anything about what happened to Elizabeth?
Yes, we all did. Rumors spread quickly, you know. How awful. I didn't know her well, but I hope at least the poor thing didn't suffer too much.
Death came quickly. You can be assured of that.
If such a senseless act can happen here, then none of us is truly safe anywhere. Lord
Возможно.
Mortimer must be mortified that one of his guests could have committed such an act, don't you think?
He is indeed very upset about it. It's only natural after such a violent murder.
Violent? What do you mean?
Elizabeth was stabbed 9 times.
Oh my God, Louis. How awful. The murderer must have had a serious grudge against her to set upon her like that. It must have been a crime of passion. Do you know what happened exactly?
Интересно.
In fact,
Если это моя
Lord
мать,
Mortimer has asked me
наша.
to look into this case, Emily.
Really? Are you Lord Mortimer's snoop now?
I'm doing it for Elizabeth, not to please Mortimer.
Какие у нее мотивы?
Good for you. Quite right, too. Have you found out anything?
Did you and Elizabeth get to know each other?
I must admit, Louis, I didn't take much interest in her. I feel a bit guilty about it, but I never actually spoke to her. She seemed burdened by her problems, and as she wasn't invited to the conference, I didn't really seek her out.
I found a torn piece of dress in Miss Adams' room. Gray silk.
Where's it from?
That's what I'm trying to find out. The color doesn't match any of Elizabeth's dresses, but I might not have found all of her clothes yet.
Good Lord, Louis, do you realize what this means? If this piece of dress isn't from Elizabeth, then it's... I don't have any grey silk dresses, Louis. Neither does my sister, since we wear the same clothes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to check with you.
I'm so sorry, Louis.
Thank you.
Are you all right? You know, I'm sure there's a good reason why your mother was at the scene.
Thank you, Emily.
Так, ну это я не могу сделать. Все, к вашему.
I won't keep you, Emily. Thank you for answering my questions.
See you, Louis.
Погнали. Слушайте, это расследование, наверное, затянется на 2 серии.
Duke Manuel Godoy.
Тоже секретная фигура. В письме матери он фигурирует.
Huh, that's me.
Да, и следующая ваша.
Monseigneur, His Eminence Cardinal Piaggi.
Вот здесь нету. Сюда я не могу войти, я так понимаю. Да. Значит, следующая будет ваша. Вашингтон, да. Надеюсь, он что-то подскажет. Очень надеюсь. Так, как всегда, начнем с обыска комнаты. Так, золотой эликсир. К сожалению, нет у нас там золотой эликсир. Нужно будет запомнить, что он находится именно здесь.
Carmelite water. They say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost.
Наконец-то. Так.
Connecticut. It looks like a note between Emily and Washington about trade deals.
My dear George, I'd like to invite you to join me as planned at my place. I have a project to show you. It is time that the United States played a more important role on the world stage. I understand your reluctance of playing with...
Не, ну это понятно, это приглашение, можно его даже не дочитывать. Так, вроде все, можно разговаривать.
Greetings, Louis.
Mr. President, you can guess why I'm here.
Of course.
Lord Mortimer has sent me to ask you a few questions about last night.
It's... How am I going to tell Elizabeth's father that she's dead?
I know, Mr. President. I shall endeavor to find out the truth about this tragedy. I must ask you to help me, though. Please.
Find the degenerate pig who did this, Louis.
Are you all right, Mr. President? Are you feeling all right?
Oh, don't worry. It's this rotten toothache. What do you expect? I'm no spring chicken now.
Tell me, Mr. President, had you spoken to Elizabeth since your arrival? You know her father. You thought she was dead.
No, I didn't. And I believe I'll be taking my remorse with me to my grave. I wanted to, but I didn't know where to begin.
You can't blame yourself. You couldn't have known that her days were numbered. Were you aware that Elizabeth took laudanum?
Yes, she came to ask me for some. She had finished her reserve, I believe.
Do you take it regularly, Mr. President?
Unfortunately, I do, Louis. I still suffer from a terrible toothache, and it's not likely to get any better.
It's just for that, then?
Old age, my young friend.
I don't wish it upon you, but you'll soon see. At my age, it's rare to have no problems in that domain.
And do you take a lot?
A moderate amount, Louis. Only the dosage indicated on the prescription of my doctor.
Were you aware that Elizabeth took laudanum?
Yes. She came to ask me for some. She had finished her reserve, I believe.
Did she tell you why she was so desperate to get some, Mr. President?
She said she had terrible migraines that wouldn't go away.
More likely for the voices she heard, not the migraines.
I'm talking to all the guests to find out who has an alibi and, well, who doesn't, Mr. President. Can you tell me what you were doing last night so that I can strike your name off the list?
I spent the night right here, reading.
All night?
Exactly. Emily stopped by in the middle of the night, you can ask her. She wanted to talk about some business we have in common.
Anything whatsoever to do with Elizabeth?
Not at all, Louis. A business matter.
Do you know why she came to the island?
To get help, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right?
Indeed. Sir Gregory suggested to her father that he introduce her to Lord Mortimer to see if he could help her.
Так, удивиться совпадению по времени.
It would appear that she wasn't invited to the conference.
That doesn't surprise me. The poor girl was in no way concerned by our business, and she had no political clout.
So, I don't understand why Sir Gregory invited her during the conference of his good friend Lord Mortimer. He must have realized that he wouldn't have much time to grant her. Preparing a conference does not seem an easy task. On the evening of our arrival, Lord Mortimer didn't even welcome us, what with his being so busy and all.
Yes, you're right, Louis. I didn't think of that. It is indeed rather surprising. The easiest thing to do is simply ask him, you know.
Of course. Do you know if she had any enemies, Mr. President?
Not that I know of. I heard about her altercation with Mr. Peru, but that case was closed, if I'm not mistaken. But if in doubt, I wouldn't leave any door unopened, and I'd go and question your fellow countrymen.
Don't worry. Countryman or not, I'm not letting anybody slip through the cracks.
Зачем? Я знаю отпечатки.
I shan't keep you any longer, Mr. President.
Feel free, Louis. If there's anything I can do, just ask.
Thank you, Mr. President.
В общем, все вроде. Со всеми поговорили. Что делать дальше, я пока не знаю. Куда дальше идти, с кем разговаривать. А, это комната Эмили. Ой, не Эмили, а Элизабет, господи.
Monsieur Johann van Wunder.
В общем, мы со всеми поразговаривали. Комната Адамс. Комната Вашингтона. Это моя, что ли, комната? Нет. Стоп. А чья это? В которую я не могу зайти. Почему? Ладно. Это не столь важно. Ладно. Идемте к Мортимеру.
I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
Will you remind me of the facts we already know about?
Elizabeth Adams was killed last night, but Piaggi was with Holm and I until late at night. As for Bonaparte and Washington, they left us after midnight, both tired.
Да, я знаю, кто убийца, моя мать, что ли?
I'm sorry, my lord, but I don't have any evidence conclusive enough to allow me to name the culprit with certitude.
Really? I see. Well, that's your decision, Louis, and I accept it. Given the distinguished guests and the sensitive political issues involved at the conference, I trust you'll leave me to conclude the case in my own way. Right. It's time we spoke about your mother, Louis.
She isn't missing, you know.
What? What do you mean?
My mother has left traces in every nook and cranny of your island, my lord. She's definitely here. Now, what worries me most is why she doesn't show herself.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities, and yours, in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the cannon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So impetuous. He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first. Our friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him, because I have a firm conviction that he can go far.
We shall see. However, there's one thing that surprises me. Did my mother intend to finance a war? I'm not sure that I follow.
No, your mother's aim was not so much to partake in a war, but rather to make Monsieur Bonaparte accountable. France is in turmoil, and having support of a military man can often come in handy, Louis. You'll see. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play. And I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
Indeed, if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what is said. There's something else I'd like to briefly go over. Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence here. Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
Не скажу я ему.
If only my mother trusted me, but she remained very mysterious. I'd have been delighted to answer your question.
Is this usual for her?
As head of the Order, secrets are her bread and butter, as you can imagine. That said, it's the first time she hasn't let me in on the reason for her trip. And it intrigues me, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm sure that Sarah will explain everything once she reappears. There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, Why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Я не знаю. Ну, скорее всего, избегает встречи и что-то обнаружила.
Maybe she found something out.
What do you mean?
My mother has a gift for investigating. If she had picked up a lead, nothing would have stopped her.
The only thing I can tell you is that SARA had indeed changed. At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
You seem to know my mother very well, my lord. What did you talk about together?
Oh, as soon as we had a little free time, we liked to share points of view about practically any subject. We would find ourselves embarked on interminable discussions that could go from Monsieur Blanchard's flight in a hot air balloon to the Treaty of Jassy, or the adoption of the metric system in France last year, or even Mr. Eli Whitney's invention in the United States.
My mother must have undoubtedly taken great pleasure in these exchanges. She always was one to appreciate broadening her knowledge. I'm surprised she didn't get you started on the Crusades. It was her favorite subject.
Are you joking? Sarah and I spent entire days together reliving them. It so happens that the Crusades are also my subject of predilection, especially the third. My ancestor distinguished himself brilliantly during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Unfortunately, my lord, the Crusades are not my chosen field.
Well, it doesn't matter. You have plenty of time to learn.
Да.
Your mother is a very well-read woman. You're quite lucky to have her as a model, Louis.
Yes, I know, but I'm still very worried.
I must admit, there are worse things to worry about now, Louis.
What do you mean?
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister. And she shot her with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
That means my vision on the wharf, it was actually happening inside the manor. Mother shot Emily's sister? The very person she came looking for? Why would she do that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation, until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
One last thing, although I don't know if there is a connection.
I'm listening.
A gate was forced the other night near the wharf. Nothing serious, just a few small things damaged.
Я скажу ему, что это я.
Sorry, my lord, but I was searching for leads to my mother. I thought I was hot on her trail and didn't take any precautions.
Well, you could have reported it to a servant. But never mind. I shall put it down to your ardor and anxiety. However, please try to respect my estate in future.
I certainly will. Please accept my sincerest apologies.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs for you.
Thank you.
The room is just opposite Mortimer's study.
Какая комната? Башенную комнату. Вот это она. Я не понимаю. Скорее всего.
There are burnt papers in the chimney. There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is on to us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Ну, она молодец.
Honey, I couldn't have hoped for better.
Что еще?
Dante's Paradise.
Райда.
Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
Так. Что еще? Так, здесь ничего.
What is this disc?
Что за диск? Взять, рассмотреть. Взять. Пригодится, я думаю. Лишним не будет.
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio.
Изучить картину, вспомнить эту историю.
A fierce opponent of the first Christians, St. Paul is suddenly struck by the call of Jesus Christ and converts. It's the best known conversion in Christian history, which teaches us that even enemies of Christ can be saved, and even become his greatest apostles after finding faith. From what I can recall, the account of his conversion could be found in the epistles to the Galatians, the Philippians, the Corinthians, and the Acts of the Apostles.
И что?
Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Вера в мечника. Но здесь нету мечника. Ладно. Что там? Стоп. Так, здесь больше ничего вроде. Надеюсь, я все смотрел. Книги еще возможно. Возможно, книги. Нет. Здесь ничего. Еще один вход. Заперто.
The door appears to be locked on the other side.
Открыть, отойти, двери открыть. Опа.
I think I heard something fall to the ground. A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor.
Применить диск.
We'll see if it works.
Классно.
It's open.
Так, ну это последняя комната, я так понимаю. Так, меч.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. I don't know, what does that mean? So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
Может, их 11?
So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
Ладно, изучить картину. Это мне не надо уже. Так, что еще? Шкатулка.
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Взломать оба замка. У меня нету столько. Открыть правый замок. Не могу. Плохо. Плохо.
A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel.
Понятно. Что? Это?
The New Testament.
Первая часть послания Павла, вторая часть послания Павла, прочесть Евангелие. Стих 11. Два раза подчеркнутый.
And suddenly there came a sound from heaven like a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting.
Ничего. Так.
Then they suborned men, which said, "We have heard him speak blasphemous words against Moses and against God."
Нифига пока не понимаю.
It's St. John, painted by Guido Reni. Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
И что? Что бы это значило, интересно?
Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the apostles by Guido Reni.
Это все. Похоже. Что-то это связано с книгой, друзья. С этой стороны что-то.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni.
Так, друзья, мы, наверное,
Looks
на
like
этом
someone
будем
touched this
заканчивать.
commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and
Нужно
in the
разгадать
dust.
загадку. Я подумаю над ней, потому что пока мне ничего не приходит в голову, и мы уже давно. С вами это слишком долго длится эта серия, друзья, потому будем заканчивать уже в следующей. Так что ставьте лайки, читайте твиттер, подключайтесь в группу ВКонтакте, подписывайтесь ко мне, новое видео каждый день у меня на канале. Адиос, амигосы, пока-пока.